To the angel of the church in Sardis write, He who has the 7 spirits of God and the 7 stars says this, I know your deeds, that you have a name, that you are alive, but you are dead. Wake up and strengthen the things that remain, which were about to die. For I have not found your deeds completed in the sight of my God. So remember what you have received and heard, and keep it, and repent. Therefore, if you do not wake up, I will come like a thief, and you will not know at what hour I will come to you. But you have a few people in Sardis who have not soiled their garments, and they will walk with me in white, for they are worthy. He who overcomes will thus be clothed in white garments, and I will not erase his name from the book of life, and I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches.
Leaving Tennessee.
All right, so we go to Alabama.
Going to North Alabama. This was 5 Points. 5 Points
Okay.
Baptist Church.
Okay.
5 Points is a community in Huntsville,
Okay.
Alabama.
Okay, so now we're in Alabama,
Yeah,
which is where you made your son a Falcons fan. Okay, understood.
This church is what I call the Church of the Living Dead.
Zombies.
They were like zombies. Yeah. It was right in the heart. I had more people living on my one block than it had in the whole community where we lived in West Tennessee. See so many people in my life. I knew that the opportunities were there to reach these people. This church had a pastor previously to me getting there who passed away. Then they called another fella, and the church grew under this pastor's leadership, but they got into a fight.
Okay.
Before we ever got there. And they split. The church split. And the church that split went down to the other end of the street and rented a building.
Yeah.
And renamed themselves Unity Baptist Church. And I thought, that's kind of weird.
They split and then called themselves Unity.
Yeah,
that's very
that's kind of weird. So, but when we finally got there, I got a call and we went over and talked to them and everything. But it was God's way of opening the door to get us. We needed to be in that area for whatever reason, because we weren't at the church but 22 months.
Yeah.
But it was hard. It was really hard.
Yeah.
That's the only church that I ever felt like there was perhaps some demonic activity.
Oh, wow.
In the church. I had to deal with that.
Wow.
It affected our family, affected our children.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. And it was tough. It was really tough to fight that and try to fight it and understand what's going on.
Yeah.
It was a lot of darkness. It was like a cemetery almost, a living cemetery. People would come into church, and there were some kind people there. Never really get to know them that deep because it was only there a short time, but they never looked really happy when they came to church. But they came to church because they'd always been in that church.
Yeah.
This church had started from a congregation out in the county. And they had a split, and they just moved into town. Their problem was, as long as I would reach to the people that lived in their community, which was like 15 miles out from the church, they were happy. But if I want to reach the people who live next door to the church, they didn't like that. And they would not help. It was all up to me if I was going to do it. So I started going door to door and reaching people and had them come into church, and they started asking questions like, who are these people? Where'd they come from? I said, they live across the street. And I had some of them tell me, said, nobody's ever come to me in this community from this church and invited me to a service. You're the first one.
What did they have against the people down the road?
I don't know what they really had, other than they felt like they kind of had a spiritual superiority.
Gotcha.
They kind of looked down their noses at people that were not like them or from their community.
Understood.
It was a dogfight. It was a real dogfight.
How long were you there?
22 months.
So just less than 2 years.
Less than 2 years.
Wow. Just no growth there.
No
Didn't really get
growth.
anywhere?
No, and all they wanted to do was fight. They fought everything that was suggested that we try to do as a church. I mean, and they fought it tooth and toenail. And they told us when I resigned, and I knew I was going to have to resign, like we couldn't stay there because it was just too much stress.
Yeah.
And they told us, they said, well, listen, we're going to sort of compromise a little bit. You guys can stay in the house as long as you need to.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
a couple of weeks later, I get a phone call, you got to move.
Oh, God.
I said, okay, we don't have any place to go. Well, where are we going to move to,
Oh,
I didn't have
man.
a job or anything. So I went to work for the government doing the census.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Spent my summer going from door to door and praying with people that the government did not know I was praying with. And they were paying me to do it.
Well, you do your door-to-door one way or the other.
That's right,
good.
man.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we survived on that, and it's quite interesting. And we moved into a missionary home that a church had that they kept open for missionaries to come in on furlough, and stay there for a while. So we moved into that. Again, one of those throwbacks to the early days. It had no air conditioning.
Oh, man.
And it was hot.
Man.
And we made
And we're
Tyler.
in Alabama now.
Yeah, we was in Alabama, and we made the boys sleep up in the upstairs. And it was hot. I mean,
Poor guy.
they'd get up in the morning like he'd been in the shower all night,
Oh, man. How old are the kids at this point?
Oh, let's see. Tyler was getting close to 10, I guess. 10 or
Okay.
11, yeah,
So this is the harshest rebuke of any of the churches, correct?
I think so, yes.
This one, nothing really good is said here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of true for this church
Yes.
you pastored as
Yes.
well. It doesn't sound like there's
Nothing good.
anything
Yeah.
to say. Is the church still around, or is it completely gone
It's
now?
still there. I don't think it's ever progressed any. It's the only church, though, that I felt in my heart when we got ready to leave. I got my kids together and my wife, and I said, we're going to do something we've never done before. We're going over to the church, and we're going to walk around the church, and we're going to pray for these people. And when we get done, we're going to go to the front porch. We're going to take our shoes off, and we're going to knock the dust off.
Oh, we're going to do the old school disciple knock the dust off thing. I like that.
We're not coming back.
Do you think that was the right call?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I really do. Sure that the neighbors thought we were weird. Some kind of cult over there.
Yeah.
But
Was any part of that the demonic presence you felt?
yes,
Okay.
that's a big part of it.
Now, was it more active, like action-based, or you just felt it, where you can tell Satan's at work? Is that more what you mean, or there was actually like tangible presence?
Yeah, it was both.
Okay.
We were living in that area at that house when Tyler started having seizures
I remember him talking about the
for no
German
reason
seizures.
about that, and we couldn't put it on a finger on it, and the doctors couldn't put their finger on anything,
Yeah.
as to why he would be having seizures. And I told Nancy, I said, I think it's just the demonic activity that's here. I made my study at the church sometimes by myself at the church, and one of the dead giveaways, and this is not so in every church, but they had a flaming red carpet. Through the whole, and somebody told me, said, you never put a flaming red carpet in a church. That's the worst color to have in it, man. I said, it reminds me of hell. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I could sense in the halls there was a darkness, and there was as if there was spiritual activity
Yeah.
that was going on there.
I understand.
And then when the people came in, you could sense they had been around that kind of activity.
Yeah.
It affected them.
Yeah.
Then the things going on with our family, just out of the clear blue,
Yeah.
It was hard. It was hard to deal with.
When you left, did the seizure stop?
They had actually started to stop before we left.
Okay.
But there's another caveat to that. I went and preached in a church out of the county. I did not know that they'd had a young man that had died, and they'd had a funeral in the church the week before I got there, and it was a satanic funeral they'd had.
Wow.
And we went, and Tyler was still he was having some seizures at that time, but that morning we were there, his seizures full blown broke out again.
Wow.
And I told Nancy, I said, I'm sure this is demonic.
Yeah.
And we
I agree.
Yeah, we
Wow.
got to get him out of this situation. So yeah, that was Sardis.
Wow.
I know your deeds, that you have a name, that you are alive, but you are dead. Wake up and strengthen the things that remain, which were about to die. For I have not found your deeds completed in the sight of my God. So remember what you have received and heard, and keep it, and repent. Therefore, if you do not wake up, I will come like a thief, and you will not know at what hour I will come to you.